any updates on my like single release stuff for a couple of days, I think. There's a lot of repetition of me sort of sitting at my laptop kind of emailing people to send them my press release, let them know about the song, that kind of stuff. So, you know, nothing like too exciting. And also I've just been really busy because like life goes on, and I was like, oh, I don't really have anything exciting to show. But then I was like, maybe it is okay to just show like a day of the stuff that I do, which I think you've had like a little bit of that trickle into the other videos anyway, to sort of show that like you can still release music in the gaps of like a normal, ordinary, boring life. You don't have to be like a full-time musician with this dream career to like every day just push the needle forward a little bit on like your dreams. So I got up quite early this morning, but I haven't done any. I've been getting up early before work to do some single release stuff, but I haven't done that this morning. I've just done more work stuff. I tried to have like a relatively good like work-life balance, but we have got like inspectors and Ofsted in this week, and it just means that a lot of the stuff that is in your head, or that is like the notes make sense to you, they just need to be really clear. So it's not that like, because I think sometimes people are like, why haven't these teachers got everything in place already? And it's like, you have. Like, you ask me any question about one of my learners, what their support strategies are, what their background is, and like I actually do know, like I actually do really care, and I do know that. Ask me, but they're not going to ask me. They're going to come in and pick up folders, and if it's not all really clear there, like everything I've ever done or everything I've ever known about this learner or work I've done with them, you can kind of lose points, if that, like, points is a bad way of putting it. So it does just mean you kind of have to create that all the time. And again, before I was a teacher, I'd have been like, well, why don't you just create that as you go along? Ha! Lol, you honestly couldn't. You'd just be putting in too many hours. And without sounding really cheesy, like, there is an element sometimes where you're like, oh, I have like an hour of admin. Do I sit down and use my hour of admin to type up all these things beautifully so they're accessible to somebody else that might come in and want to see them? Or do I go and talk to that learner who's just had like some incredibly difficult news, who actually isn't doing too well, and we can just spend a bit of extra time chatting or playing keyboard together, and that might make their day better? It's kind of a no-brainer really, isn't it, like what you're going to do? So and I think most teachers would be happy with that. So anyway, that is an early morning waffle to just say that like this week, like that Ofsted thing has been kind of the focus, because we don't want to like cover anything up, because if there are things the inspectors notice that are bad, then good, like highlight them and we'll make them better. But we do want to put our best foot forward, and it is frustrating that a lot of that just has to be on a bit of paper in a folder. They do talk to the teachers, but I think all of us feel, and you know, careful not to get fired, I'm not disrespecting how it works, but I think a lot of the teachers feel like actually, as much as we don't really enjoy the inspection process, kind of being observed can feel a bit clunky. We kind of wish they had longer, because when they came into my classroom, I didn't just want to be like, meh, 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 but so I didn't want to just talk at them, but they don't often ask much, they just observe, and you kind of have to like be like, oh, could I show you this? Could I show you that? And they're not there for very long, so you put your best foot forward, but you don't get very long to do that. And you are still trying to teach, and learners are humans, and they're allowed to be human and flawed or air any like grievances they have. Although I have to say my class were perfect when, it's not when the inspectors came in, they're just perfect.
Hello, I did not film any more from that day. I was just so incredibly frazzled last week. I really love my job, but it can be frazzling, and I think having like Ofsted and the inspectors in did make it a little extra frazzling. And yeah, I just probably came home and just fell asleep. So yeah, I didn't really update much. I wasn't really getting much done. I think also there's two reasons why I haven't updated much. Number one, a lot of promoting a new single is sitting at your computer emailing people. That's okay. Like, a lot of it is getting out, playing gigs and networking, and like that's kind of more fun and interactive, but a lot of it is kind of sitting at your laptop emailing your network of people you already know, or reaching out to new people to say, I made some music, would you like to listen to it? And that is, I think, what most musicians will spend a lot of their pre-release time doing, but doesn't make for very exciting viewing. I think the second reason is I guess this is like the 4th video or the 5th video, and I think I had hoped that I'd be saying like, oh, I heard from a blog, or I heard from this radio show, and I have not had that. I've had one blog say they might do something, which is fair enough. Who knows what will come along that week? They might you know, end up having to interview a Rolling Stone instead of me. They've done like a maybe. I've had a few more rejections as well, which, like, it is hard to take. I was talking to my friend Tom Mayhew, who is a comedian. If you haven't come across his work, do check it out. And he kind of said, and rightly so, he sort of said, you know, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change the value of your song. And I was like, I do get that, but at the same time, when I do get yeses, I want to really celebrate those. And the only way to really be able to celebrate those is to accept that it is worth celebrating, because it's worth feeling a little bit sad when you don't get it, if that makes sense. Like, if you're so excited it's a yes, you should feel a bit disappointed it's a no. And it should inspire you to get back to the drawing board. I guess not change what you do, because you can't really change how you write, but I think you can maybe change how you package things, or how you come at things, or how you build a bit of buzz around your songs, or change, I guess, who those songs are for and how you reach those people. But yeah, you can't change the way you write. You wouldn't want to. I mean, I actually don't know how I would, because I just am who I am, but I also wouldn't want to like change. I've written for things, you know, when I played in this band called the Company of Players, and we wrote songs based on the life and works of Shakespeare, so I was writing for that. I've written for some independent films. I've written songs for, when I did this, I did some work with a charity called the Irene Taylor Trust, and we wrote songs kind of for using their lyrics, but for prisoners who wanted to like send songs to their children, or send songs to like family members. We did this, and although we had some of their ideas, we were kind of writing for them. So I have done things where I've written for other people, so I can kind of get into that headspace of thinking, oh, it's not my writing as such. And at work, quite often I will put vocals onto some of the learners' songs, and they're not really the style of music I make, so I can kind of get into that headspace. But when I'm sitting writing my own work, I could never be like, oh, I should write, you know, like a TikTok hit. Like, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it even if I wanted to. Like, I don't know how to. Like, I just write the way I write, so it's never going to change the way I write, which I think is a nice thing. But I think it is going to shape, probably, I don't know, shape like how I try to promote things, because I definitely want to get better at that. I know that that's held me back in my music career, like not having that like brain for this stuff. I've never been able to build a team around me. Like, even when I had like a lot of buzz and around me, and I was kind of felt like I was at a point of like building my career, I've never had that. And so many of my friends who are musicians have got like management. I would really like that. I think it would really help, and I've never really known how to get that, or how to build those sort of relationships. So that stuff, like when I get these knockbacks, that's the stuff that I think I want to try and work on. I'm just getting better at my instrument, and like writing more, because the betterer I get, the more I feel like I've said this a million times, but my music is always trying to close the gap between what I hear in my head and what I can play and create with my hands. Anyway, this is like 5 minutes of waffle to basically sort of say we're still on the starting blocks. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really doing all this stuff, and I haven't really changed stuff. But let's see. Hopefully have some updates for you soon. Any advice and guidance on anything else I should be doing? I've kind of been posting on socials each day, but I don't think my content is particularly good. Again, there's like a balance between a few things. One, I do just want to be me, so if someone comes along and says, oh, you should be doing this, well, I can't if it's not me. Number two, I definitely go by done is better than perfect. I know, like, I film stuff on my phone, it's not very well edited, but I don't always have the like time to do it. I'm sure there was 3 things I was going to say that could be better. But anyway, yeah, I definitely could get better at like content stuff. But I have been posting each day. Any advice and guidance people have on what I should be doing would be incredibly welcome, because I think I'm floundering. I've gone back to first full record era, I'm floundering.